Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the books that I hope to read in the month of February. So I have quite a few books on my list for this month, so this is going to be more like a possibility pile rather than a to be read. I do want to read all of these books at some point, but whether or not I can get to all of them in February is still up for debate. First, I do want to go ahead and mention though that I am going to be participating in Historical Fiction-a-thon this month. That is a readathon that is put on by Bree from Call Me After Coffee, Amara from Amara Franklin, and Kirsty from The Life of a Book Nerd over on Instagram. Amanda from The Curly Reader also has a historical fiction readathon going on this month called HISTORATHON, so I do want to mention that as well. But this seems to be a pretty popular month to be doing historical fiction books. So I don't usually read a lot of historical fiction, but I do enjoy it when I read it. So this was a perfect opportunity for me to pick up more of the ones that I had on my shelves and also ones that I've just been curious about. Both Historical Fiction-a-thon and Historathon run throughout the whole month of February, I believe. So you have the entire month to read historical fiction books. I'll go ahead and link the videos to both of those historical fiction readathon announcements down below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what I plan to read this month. So the first book that I'm reading in regards to Historical Fiction-a-thon is Lovely War by Julie Berry. This is actually going to be a buddy read for me with my friend Bree from Call Me After Coffee and my friend Liv from Liv's Library. So this is a book that I heard about maybe a year ago. I think it came out last year. No, it came out in 2019, but I guess I've been hearing about it for maybe 2 years, and I've been really interested by it because it's kind of a combination of historical fiction, romance, and fantasy all tied into one. So in a nutshell, this book follows two different couples from World War I. The first couple is James and Hazel, and their love story is probably my favorite so far. I have gone ahead and started reading this, and I don't know if you can see my bookmark right there, but I'm like 100 and something pages through, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So James is going off to war, and Hazel plays piano, so that's kind of their dynamic. And then you've got two other characters that I've just been introduced to as I'm reading, so I'm having to double check on who they are, and I'm not sure if it tells in the synopsis, but I think their names are Aubrey and Colette, maybe? Let me see if I can find the names. Yeah, Aubrey and Colette. So I've just been introduced to them in my reading. So those are the two stories we're following during World War I. And Colette has kind of been in the forefront of seeing what kind of trauma that war can leave you with. And Aubrey is a musician, and he is actually our Black character in this book, which I really enjoy getting a little piece of Black history in here with it being Black History Month. So it talks about how back in World War I, there were all Black regiments of the army. They did not combine whites and Blacks, and they weren't treated very well, obviously, back then. And then I believe Colette is white, and she is going to have a relationship with Aubrey, which back then was also very controversial to have mixed race relationships. So that's going to be really interesting to learn, and I've already seen a lot of prejudice in this book already, just as far as like being given insight on what it was like in the war for Black people. So I'm glad that this also is kind of tying into Black history for me this month. Anyways, so I've told you kind of the historical and the romance part of this, but the fantasy part of this is that it's actually narrated by Greek gods and goddesses. So Aphrodite is our main narrator, and she is telling the story of how she kind of weaved these love stories together. Then you also have Ares, who is her lover, and Hephaestus, who is her husband. So that's an interesting thing too. And you just get to learn about the trauma of war, the prejudice that took place in that time, and also just kind of a history of how love and war have always been pitted against each other. So like I said, I've already started this and I'm really enjoying it so far. I love the banter between the gods and the goddesses. It really does well to break up the more intense moments of the book, but I love the love stories and I love the historicalness of it. I don't think I've ever read a book centered around World War I, so this is going to be my first one. And like I said, it's really good so far, and I'm excited to continue reading it. Next up, I have A Place to Hang the Moon by Kate Albus, and this book came out on February 2nd. So I pre-ordered this because I was so excited about it, and I knew I could read it for Historical Fiction-a-thon. And it's middle grade, and it has to do with the librarian, so I was really excited to read this one. This story follows William, Edmund, and Anna, and they are all orphans, and they are in the foster system moving along the countryside during, I believe this is World War II. Yes, it's in World War II in England, and they are trying to find a permanent home. And it seems that nothing is working out for them, but this librarian named Nora kind of has taken them under her wing, and they would love if Nora could adopt them. But Nora's husband is a missing German soldier, which is causing some conflict because the community doesn't feel like it would be a good idea, with her husband being missing and the circumstances that she is in, to take on 3 children. This just sounds like it's going to be such a cute story. But also one that is very heartbreaking. And I don't know, it's been a while since I have read a historical fiction middle grade. Number the Stars was one that I really loved growing up. And then Belle Teal is another one that I think could be considered historical fiction. Those are 2 that I've always really loved. So I'm excited to read this one, and hopefully it will be a new favorite. Next, I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This book is going to be serving 2 purposes for me this month, actually maybe even 3. One is that I've just really been wanting to read this, but the book intimidates me for whatever reason. I feel like everybody loves it, and I'm scared that I won't like it, even though I'm pretty sure that I will. And then also, this is the 3 Blondes and a Book club pick for the month of February. And so 3 Blondes and a Book is actually a book club that I have joined that is run by Liv from Liv's Library, Zoe from Zoe Delaney, and Kalyn from Kalyn Abridged. So like I said, this is our book club pick for the month. And I don't know a ton about this except that it's about a girl named Addie, and Addie sells her soul to the devil so that she can live forever. But the condition of this deal is that she is destined to never be remembered until one day somebody does remember Addie. And so that's really all I need to know that I want to read this and to be interested in it. I've really liked most everything that I've read by Victoria Schwab. Her City of Ghosts middle grade series is one of my favorites, and the Vicious and Vengeful series, I absolutely love that. So I'm really thinking that I'm probably gonna like this, but I'm still really intimidated because it is really hyped right now. So I don't know, we'll see what I think, but I am really excited to read this one. And the third way that this is gonna tie in, other than just me needing to read it and being intimidated, and then also like the book club thing, is that this will possibly fit in for a historical fiction-a-thon as well, because I think it does have a historical aspect. It is a primarily fantasy book, but it takes place in France 1714, and then I think it might skip time. I'm not really sure. I don't know, but there's historical aspects here, so I'm just gonna count it for that too. Then the next book that I have is The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane by Julia Noble. This is a book that I will be reading with my middle grade book club at the library. This is the book they chose for actually the month of January, but we had to postpone it till February, so this is what we're going to be reading. I've already started this one as well, and I'm enjoying it so far. So this story follows our main character, Amy, and Amy has just been shipped off to Wellsworth, which is a prestigious boarding school in England. But before she leaves, she finds this box of medallions that is left to her from her dad, and these medallions have these different symbols on them. And when Amy gets to the school, she finds these symbols etched into the walls at the school. So she's wondering, has her dad gone to this school? And she finds out there's a secret society here, and does that have anything to do with her dad's disappearance? I love that this is a middle grade mystery, and it also involves secret societies and stuff like that. I just think that sounds super good. I'm really excited to continue with this one. Like I said, it's good so far. I've gotten about 50 pages in. I think there's going to be a twist, which I'm also really excited about. So I'm really excited to be reading this with my book club at the library. I think we're all going to enjoy it, and I'm excited to figure out what's going to happen. Also, with Valentine's Day coming up, I do have a couple of romance books on my list. It has been a minute since I've read a romance, but I'm really in the mood, and so I picked up a couple. One that has really piqued my interest is The Two Lives of Lydia Bird by Josie Silver. I read Josie Silver's book One Day in December 2 Christmases ago, and it is one of my favorites. It's super cute, and so I know this one is going to be good, and I'm really excited to read it this month. So this story follows a girl named Lydia, and Lydia has been in a relationship with Freddie for the past decade, and she really feels like their love is indestructible until at 28 years old, Freddie is killed in a car accident. So obviously that's super tragic, and she has a hard time moving on from that, but with the help of Freddie's best friend and her sister, she is able to move on, and she finds a new boyfriend and someone else that she feels like she's fallen in love with. But at this same time, she finds out that there is a way for her to kind of go back in time to where this car accident never happened to Freddie, and she could still kind of, I don't know if it's like an alternate universe type deal or what, but she can still have this relationship with Freddie. But now it's not so easy because she's met this new guy. So that is the concept of this book, and it sounds really good, and I hope that I love this one just as much as One Day in December. Like I said, I'm really in the mood for romances, so I'm really excited to read this one. Next up, I have A Guy Like Him by Amanda Gambill. I met Amanda Gambill on Instagram or Bookstagram a couple years ago and saw that she had written this book, and I knew that I had to get my hands on it, so I finally bought it last year and I haven't read it yet, so I thought this would be a great time. I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis on the back because I feel like that would do a better job than me trying to explain it. So it says, Skylar is the kind of girl who knows exactly how many seconds it takes to read this summary. She knows exactly what her perfect future looks like and how to get there because her dad has already defined it for her and her older sister has already paved the way. That means she knows what college classes to take her junior year, what accounting firm she'll work at after graduation, and exactly the kind of guy she needs to help her parents, to keep her parents happy. So it's only logical that she makes a pro and con list after every coffee date, and when she unexpectedly dives headfirst into a casual fling, she defines it with a contract that clearly outlines the rules of this secret relationship. In this coming-of-age novel, while she balances planning her sister's wedding, going on way too many dates, and fulfilling obligations as SGA's social outreach vice chair, Skylar has to find the line between perfection and what she really wants and discover if they are the same thing or if it pays to sometimes break the rules. So this just sounds like a really cute story. Like I said, I follow Amanda on Instagram, and I've really been wanting to read this one, and Valentine's is just the perfect opportunity to pick this up. So I'm excited to read this, and I hope I can get to it. Like I said, this is more of a possibility pile, so I don't know if I'll get to all of these, but I'm really hoping to get to this one. The next romance book I have on my list is You Have a Match by Emma Lord. So Emma Lord also wrote the book Tweet Cute that came out last year, which I never got around to reading, but this one sounded really cute, and it's really short. And honestly, the reason that I was drawn to this one is it gave me Parent Trap vibes, and The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan is one of my all-time favorite movies. I can literally quote the movie. I love the soundtrack. It's like the best movie soundtrack of all time. And if you play me the soundtrack, I can almost guarantee you that I can tell you what's going on in the movie this time that these songs are playing. So needless to say, I'm a huge Parent Trap fan. So when I heard that there was like Parent Trap vibes with this, I definitely wanted to pick it up, but it's also a romance, so that's not like the whole part of it. But it stars our main character, whose name is Abby, and Abby signs up for a DNA service. And when she does this, she finds out that she has this long lost sister. And I think that this sister is like an Instagram influencer or something. Yeah, so her name is Savannah Tully, and they're very, very different. And so they end up meeting at this summer camp. So there's the Parent Trap thing for you. So they end up meeting at the summer camp, and Leo, who is Abby's crush, is also at the summer camp working there. And so I don't really know anything else about it other than that, but I was intrigued by the whole concept, and I just think it's going to be a cute story. And like I said, I love that it has a Parent Trap vibe, so I'm really excited to get to this one too. Next, I have a couple of graphic novels, and one of them I don't have with me, so I'm going to pop a picture up of that now. It is The Daughter of East. I don't know if it's Wise or East. I want to say East, but it's by M.T. Anderson, and I am going to actually read the synopsis off of Goodreads because I can't remember what it's about, but I did an interlibrary loan for it, and so it should be coming in soon. So it says, an Atlantis-like city from Celtic legend is the setting of this mythical graphic novel fantasy reimagining. Graphic novel fantasy reimagining the classic Breton folktale of love, loss, and rebirth, revealing the secrets that lie beneath the surface. East, city of wealth and wonder, has a history of dark secrets. Queen Malgvin used magic to raise the great walls that keep East safe from the tumultuous sea. But after the queen's inexplicable death, her daughters drift apart. Rosin, the heir to the throne, spends her time on the moors communing with wild animals, while Dahut, I don't know how to say these names, the youngest, enjoys the splendors of royal life and is eager to take part in palace intrigue. I just thought the cover was really pretty, and it sounded pretty interesting, and I like the fact that it is based off of folktale, and so I hope that this is a good one. It's got pretty good ratings on Goodreads. It's like average 3.83, so I'm hoping this is a good one, and I'm excited to read a couple of graphic novels this month. Those are always a very good way to break up my heavier reading, and so I'm really excited to get to this one. And then I also have Stepping Stones by Lucy Knisley. And I heard about this book from Amanda from the Curly Reader. She had mentioned this one and said that she really enjoyed it, so I knew that I had to pick it up, and it is going to be a series called the Peapod Farm series. And this series follows a girl named Jen, and Jen is forced to leave the city and move to the farm with her mom and her mom's new boyfriend. And she also finds out she's about to have 2 new sisters. So she's not very happy with her current situation, but I believe she's gonna make some new friends and kind of warm up to everything. And so this is just a story about how to deal with insecurities when you have a new family and new family situations. So I'm really excited to read this one too. Then I have a couple of mangas. So I can actually attribute all of my manga reading to Liv from Liv's Library because she has convinced me to give manga another try. I read The Promised Neverland Volume 1 and I started watching the anime, and while I thought it was good, I just didn't feel like, I don't know, I just didn't care enough about it, which sounds terrible because I know that's such a popular series. But Olivia told me a few manga to try out, and so now I'm trying some more out. And one that I have given a try and have really been enjoying is The Girl from the Other Side. I have read the first 2 volumes and I'm really enjoying it, and I have volume 3 and volume 4 on hold at my library, so hopefully I will be getting those soon. So this is basically, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like there's insiders and outsiders, and the outsiders look like these like bird demon things. They have like bird heads and then like horns, I think. I don't know. But this one outsider has taken in this little girl who was left behind when the insiders left, when the outsiders came in, I think is what happened. I'm not really sure. Some of it's still kind of up in the air for me. But this one she calls teacher, he's helping take care of her, and she keeps thinking, like, I can't remember what the main character's name is now, but she keeps thinking that her aunt is going to come back to get her. And like, this is a child, like a little child. And the teacher keeps telling her, like, don't touch me and I can't touch you because you will be cursed. And so I don't really know, like, I think what happens is that she would turn into something like him. So I don't know, it's really good so far. There's still some like questions and stuff that I have about it, but I'm very intrigued and I'm really looking forward to reading volumes 3 and 4 and continuing on with the series. And next up, I plan to read Hat Adeliere, which I will post a picture of right here, because I don't have that one either, but it is coming in through Interlibrary Loan, and I'm going to read the synopsis off of Goodreads for this one as well. But I really like witchy graphic novels, and so I thought trying a witchy manga would be good. So this one says, in a world where everyone takes wonders like magic, spells, and dragons for granted, Coco is a girl with a simple dream. She wants to be a witch, but everybody knows magicians are born, not made, and Coco was not born with the gift for magic. Resigned to her unmagical life, Coco is about to give up on her dream to become a witch until the day she meets Quiffrey, I guess that's how you say that, Quiffrey, a mysterious traveling magician. After secretly seeing Quiffrey perform magic in a way she's never seen before, Coco soon learns what everybody knows might not be the truth, and discovers that her magical dream may not be as far away as it may seem. So that sounds super cute and whimsical and witchy, and I'm really excited to read this one. I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it. Manga is something I've had to get used to, especially reading backwards and figuring out what box and what bubble to read first, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm really excited to try out Hat Adeliere. And then the last manga I'm reading this month, I almost held it up wrong, is Orange by Ichigo Takano. And this is a book that I have seen everywhere, and so I'm really excited to read this. I've started it already, and I'm not very far in. I'm about like that far in. So I'm enjoying it so far. It sounds really interesting. It's like a sci-fi romance, I believe, but it's about this girl named Naho, and she is in 11th grade. And when she's beginning her 11th grade year, she receives a letter from herself 10 years in the future that's telling her that there's going to be a new student in her class named Kakaru. And I think that's how you say that. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Some of these names today I just really can't pronounce. But anyways, the letter tells her to watch over Kakaru and that she needs to focus on saving him from his destiny, because I think 10 years in the future, Kakaru is not with them anymore. So that's what this is about, and so far I'm really enjoying it. It's a very thick book, but it is manga, so I know that doesn't mean that it's going to take me forever to read, but I think there are 2 volumes in this, so I'm excited to see what I think. Alright y'all, I believe that is all the books that I'm going to endeavor to read this month. I probably will not make it through all of them, though I really hope that I can. If you have read any of the books in my stack, let me know, and let me know what you thought. Also, let me know what book you are most looking forward to reading this month. But I think that's going to be all for today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!